question. I expected a follow-up from Annie. I should have known that was probably the drop-off point.
Right.
But, we've got – it seems like a lot of these people anymore, they'd rather text and email, and that's fine. I'll try to get to as many of these as I can. So, Cliff, if it's okay with you, let's go to a couple questions right now, okay?
Sure.
All right. One here from Kim sent me something that she's reporting. Fox News is just reporting that Obama is likely to skip the climate change conference in Copenhagen. For my money, I don't think there's any way in heck he's going to miss that conference. I think this is why he was elected. But what do you think, Cliff?
Well, we do see him going out and about with some kind of shuttle diplomacy or something, movement of the whole administration relative to international things from the third or fifth on. I always pegged it with the Israeli tensions, though. So, and we've had those flare up with the Israelis mucking about with the Temple Mount and getting all the Muslims irritated. So I just kind of thought that would be the case, but maybe it's going to be the Copenhagen issue. I just don't know.
Well, it's interesting because someone else wrote in and said, how does the Israeli mistake today enter into all this?
We still have that online. Insofar as we can tell, the Israelis are still trying to get their act together to attack Iran before the end of the year, and these increased tensions here with Temple Mount may be the lead-in. They may need a cause celeb, a spark, to feel justified in doing it. Actually, I think they're being told don't do anything because you'll crash the economy, but after the economy has crashed, then they may just, go ahead. And speaking of the economic stuff, we'd always associated the turn with economic elements, and we think that there's, on a personal level, I think that we're going to see two events over the course of this next week that'll be interesting relative to the U.S. economy, and one should be the huge amount of bonds and stuff that are going on sale, treasury bills or whatever, notes that'll be sold this coming week, and we may see something of a debacle there. I don't know if it'll be as bad as the 32 bond crisis, but now would be a particularly good rhyme and time for that to occur. Then the other thing is we may see a corresponding drop in the dollar. I think these things are in the dollar. I don't know where it's at, but it wouldn't surprise me to see a 10 or 15% slide in a very precipitous, sudden kind of an event. That I say sudden, but it might take a couple of days, but still for the dollar that would be a suddenness.
Well, the old saying is, and I'm wondering if this fits at all, many economists like to say when bonds are high, stocks will die. Do you see that coming into play too?
Well, I think stocks are 100% manipulated. 92% of all the trades are electronic, so anything that's going on at that level, it's all manipulated. It's not an open casino anymore, and the house is rigged to always promote the idea that stocks are good. Plus, they've got professional shills out there in the form of CNBC saying, we're America, we're number one, buy our paper. So, no, I don't see that those are even connected anymore. There's been a disjointedness. Used to be able to actually make money realistically with the stock market. And these days, when they say you don't bet against the Fed, well, there's a real pertinent point there because the Fed's manipulating everything, and you can't bet against them. If you're not in harmony with them, you're going to be taken to the cleaners, in spite of the fact that there's all these contrary indicators that, all these companies are unhealthy and so on, and you should be betting against them. Nonetheless, they continue to be propped up, and they keep printing out the dollar. However, as I point out, we're approaching hyperinflation to the point where even credit card companies can't make money at 30% interest now.
That's just amazing.
They're starting to close those down. Wouldn't surprise me to see store cards being not honored through this fall. Department store kind of cards.
It wouldn't surprise me either. Let's go out to the lines and welcome Joe from Florida. Hi, Joe. What's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, in regards to the October 25th, he mentioned the city card thing doing with the gas, dumping that whole thing, and the Bernie Madoff associate. There's one more other interesting thing that I've actually came out yesterday, and then it was a rumor, and now today it's final, and that's I'll read the headline. Capmark Financial Group, Inc., one of the nation's largest commercial real estate lenders, plans to file for bankruptcy as soon as this weekend. And it happened. Supposedly today it was finalized. That's pretty big because, number one, it's a Webbot hit. What they said, the next thing is going to be commercial real estate going up, upside down. That's huge in my eyes. It's a big company.
Well, thanks for noticing.
Yeah,
that was huge, and that was a hit, and that was very sad because
it was
starting
today.
at the top.
They said it today.
Yeah, and it's the biggest of them all. Usually these things crumble from the bottom up. They don't keel over from the head down.
Yeah, that was a red flag where I said,
Well, here's the numbers to get you really excited about this. Since 1992, we've been building commercial real estate 5 times the rate of population growth, and at the moment, Capmark Financial Group was lending for 2/3 of all the pending projects.
Wow.
And at that accelerated rate. So when so commercial real estate it's just been shot through the head. Yeah.
Different people, different angles. I mean, Gerald Salente is saying that the death knell will probably be the commercial real estate collapse, and that's what I'm hearing here.
Yeah, it certainly does appear that it's occurred, and it happened right on schedule, and that was something you couldn't have predicted. We didn't really know what it would be, but we knew that we'd be 85% economic, and that was a big hit. I was actually waiting until tomorrow morning to see if they filed the to be able to
today
read the
they said it was finalized. They're doing it. And
I had friends of mine. I had friends from Chicago tell me that they'd seen that the attorneys had actually filed. Yeah.
And then I read that 9,000 homes up for auction in Detroit, with 80% of them no bid. Most of the bids started at $500. 80% of them, not one person would bid on them.
Yeah.
Now that's crazy.
Well, like we'd been saying for months, we'd get to the point where there wouldn't be the ability to transfer property too, and we're going to get to that. Yeah.
And do you follow Lindsey Williams at all?
No, I don't. I'm vaguely aware of that he's a predictive or forecasting personality, but I don't know any details. I'm sorry.
He basically comes from the oil industry from the 70s, and he'd been laying out the price of oil and saying it's going to go to $150 a barrel, which it did. Then he said it was going to hover around $50 a barrel for the first part of 2009, and it did. And I've been waiting to see if there's any updates. Well, I just heard him on the radio the other day. And it basically, his forecast, and he says that, he never, ever speaks unless he's told by his buddy, who is basically on his deathbed now, is one of the big-time oil guys. But he says that everything your Webbot is basically saying, he said, when we bailed out the banking industry last year, end of 2008, which you guys, of course, also nailed with the Webbot, he says we gave them, of course, $2+ trillion. And that was them, what they did in return, for basically a thanks, was say, okay, we're not going to collapse the economy right now. We're going to drag this out for 2 years. So what he's saying, and he gives out this timeline of, this is going to happen first and this is going to happen next, but he's saying everything that you're talking about is coming. And he said at the end of this, the American people, the American public will be so broke, will be so destroyed financially, you won't even have the money to get up and go anywhere to protest. And that he mentioned the only real money is gold and silver.
Yeah, that is a real probability according to the way our data lays out. You can, in a short period of time, probably sometime next year, most of the United States, and the United States is a big place, so I hate making too broad of a generalization, but throughout lots of areas of the continental U.S. will resemble many areas in Kingston or other areas in Jamaica. Spotty electricity, no services in terms of, hygiene and trash collection.
Like Argentina. Like some parts of Argentina, with the same exact
Very much
thing.
So.
Sporadic electricity and
like they had their financial troubles and it spilled over to the social infrastructure. Only here we've got a real problem, because when our social infrastructure or our infrastructure for the society starts to break down, a lot of it can't be repaired because we've got some of our electrical systems are 100 years old.
Yep, and he's also saying that they told him the war with Iran is off for almost 2 years from now, is what he's saying. But I said, I don't know about that with all the rhetoric in the news right now. Maybe Israel just says, the hell with it, we're going to do it.
Cliff, let's put that on to you. I mean, I doubt that Israel's going to wait 2 years to do anything.
Our data wouldn't suggest that. Our data would line up with you. It would suggest before the end of the year.
Okay, Joe, I want to thank you for your call. Great call.
One more thing that he would appreciate. I know you guys follow the time wave zero stuff. I did a mapping of that, and I went back from 1773 to 2009, took a snapshot of it. I then went from, I think it was May or March of 2009 till 2012. It is the spitting image exact same replica of the one from 1773 to 2009, which tells me that we are going to experience that type of global change that took place over the last 232 years, all in the span
of a short period,
roughly 4 years. And from what we're all seeing right now, left and right, getting hit with us, it's looking like that's what's coming. And my question to you, besides talking this whole time, really is can you touch on anything on the November 3rd report that seems to be pretty important?
No, I can't say anything. I have to embargo until I've got graphics. I'm sorry about that because it's too complex to try words. We need both.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Great call.
Yeah, very great. And thanks for all the people in Florida. You know, it's nice that to be appreciated occasionally that, oh, yeah, you do get some of this stuff right.
Cliff, my head is spinning. There are so many avenues to go down because so much is coming at us. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, and I don't know if you've seen any language to this in the web, but I had on many guests in the last few weeks, I should say, and we've talked about why don't we just repudiate the debt? America rises up, elects Mr. Smith, goes to Washington times 500. We repudiate the debt. We pass laws to keep corporations from lobbying and giving campaign contributions to our politicians.